Yes, Kenya. Tamu sana, tamu sana, tamu sana, yes. During the budget reading yesterday, CS Treasury Njuguna Ndung'u made some remarks that have been causing a lot of heated political debates. Consumption of sugar has been associated with various ailments such as diabetes, which has become common in many families. To discourage the consumption of sugar, I propose to introduce excise duty on imported sugar at a rate of Kenya shillings 5 per kg. Njuguna Ndung'u, 15th June 2023. Those remarks have been causing serious political debates. I want us to dig deep into those remarks to put them in context for Kenyans to understand the games being played here, ladies and gentlemen. Before we do that, if you are watching us, but you have not yet subscribed, subscribe, give this video a like. Let's proceed. Yes, let's put those remarks into perspective. As much as the good professor is just reiterating the known truths, nobody assigned him that role to dictate to Kenyans on how Kenyans should handle sugar. Nobody assigned him that role at all. So here Njuguna is off the mark. And then secondly, the remarks exposes the governance naivety among some of the leaders serving in William Ruto's government. Njuguna is trying to trivialize the sugar issue. From those sentiments, he's implying that sugar is only for home consumption, for families in their homes, which is not the case. We know that some industries use sugar in large scales for their products. So by this professor intending on introducing excise duty on imported sugar, that means that most industries relying on that sugar, the cost of their productions will go up. And that in one way or the other will lead to the prices on some basic commodities going up. In the long run, the cost of living will go up just as a result of that alone. And also from those remarks, you are seeing a very disparate government, a government that is trying to justify why they cannot lower the price of sugar. In the recent days, the price of sugar has been going up. Kenyans have been complaining about that increment. So I'm seeing a government that is desperately trying to explain to Kenyans as to why they cannot lower the sugar price. This is just an escapist government. Instead of putting in place measures that will bring the cost of sugar down, they are actually putting in place measures that will just help in increasing the price of sugar. And this will just continue increasing the cost of sugar. Something also coming out very clearly from these remarks, I'm seeing a government that is very insensitive to the plight of Kenyans. Almost on a daily basis, Kenyans have been crying out for help. But instead of the government extending a helping hand, we are seeing a government that is actually adding more load on Kenyans. This confirms that this is a government that does not understand what the common man on the ground is saying. Kenyans want, a good majority of Kenyans want the price of sugar to come down. Instead, the government is increasing, or rather intends on increasing that price. So that's also very unfortunate on the part of the government. Something also coming out very clearly, if you look at the budget that was read yesterday by the professor, that budget only favors the rich. This is a government, or rather, let me put it this way. From yesterday's budget that was read by Njuguna, it's clear the budget only favors the rich and it's against the poor. And even from these remarks by Njuguna Ndungu, he just exposes that. And also, even before I conclude, Ruto's government is completely naive. Completely naive. It's either Ruto is deliberately punishing the hustlers for having voted for him, or is just up to some games. And some Kenyans have been trying to say, or rather, some Kenyans are saying that Ruto has laid out a strategy where in the first 2 or 3 years, he wants to make sure the cost of living is up. In the fourth and the fifth year, he'll now try lowering the cost of living. And as usual, a good majority of Kenyans are politically naive. As Ruto will be lowering maybe the cost of living in the fourth and fifth year, some Kenyans will be hero worshipping and cheering him up, saying he is delivering. And something like that we did see when the cost of unga, when Ruto announced the cost of unga had come to 150. He started bragging immediately that he had done that through the brain power. No subsidies, he just did that through brain. I'm seeing a similar strategy where in the fourth or fifth year, he'll start lowering the cost of these commodities and Kenyans will be celebrating. Kenyans should know that in advance so that they can reject that well in advance. And finally, the remarks by Professor Njuguna Ndungu just confirms that Ruto's government is totally confused. They just don't know what to do. They don't know what is good for Kenyans, or rather, they just don't know. They are just totally confused. Let me leave it there, ladies and gentlemen. For those watching us, but you have not yet subscribed, subscribe, give this video a like. To our fans and subscribers here, I'm very much humbled, very grateful for the kind of support you are giving me here. God bless you. God bless Kenya. To those still sending their contributions, I've pinned or rather channel all your contributions to the number below. Let's help Nudin undergo a kidney transplant. All contributions are highly being appreciated. Thank you. God bless you. God bless Kenya. Thank you. Yes.